Hello and welcome to Musician vs. Musician, a podcast/gig, where every week we talk about two different musical things, one that we like, one that we don't like, and one that the other likes and doesn't like, and then we compare them and see which one's better and who likes the one the most.
That was unnecessarily complicated.
You can tell that was off the cuff, right?
That was dreadful.
I liked it. I always say, actually I've noticed this, like in a lot of the intros I say, that's the intro now, that's what it's going to be, but then I forget to do it, so it's just...
You forget every time.
It's different every single time. This is, I mean, we're musicians, right? We're supposed to be good at improvising. We're not. I'm not. I won't speak for you. So this week,
Jesus Christ,
to celebrate International Women's Day, that was, as of this podcast release, like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, some people will call it International Women's Month by the end of it.
Well, then it's International Women's Month, and this is still very relevant, so
yeah, we're
don't
definitely
judge us.
qualified to talk about it, because you feel sometimes like a woman, and I look like one. So.
I always say that I'm 40% a woman, and that's not... I'm not trying to disparage women.
I completely see it, yeah.
I even told my mum the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, she thought it was a joke, but
we go.
Baby steps.
Yeah, I mean, she's warming up to the idea.
Exactly. And you said you were like 40% a woman, right? Oh no, 60% a woman.
That's complicated. I don't know.
We won't get into
I look
complex...
like one. That's what we'll sit at, is that I'm physically female.
We won't get into complex gender discussions on this.
Otherwise we'll
podcast.
talk about it all day. I know what we're like.
I mean, we talk about so many tangents. We've already gone off on one, and I'm about to talk about tangents on a tangent. So let's talk about a band instead.
Yeah.
Did you want to go first this week, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Every week I go first. I'm tired of going first. I'm tired of being the best.
Do you want me to go first, you moany turd?
I guess I'm the reigning champion at this point, right?
Given that we've only been doing this scheme, this new layout once, and you have won that, I will concede that so far you are on the win.
I'm going to get us a belt, and every week we're going to take a new... Oh, you know what we should do?
What?
This might be... Maybe we'll just take 2 photos and then, release it differently each week.
Okay.
1 week, when I win, I've got the musician side. And if you win, you get the musician side.
In the bloody hoodie.
Yeah, you know what? We'll fucking do that tonight when we're eating.
Yeah.
We don't live together. We just occasionally eat food when I tell Leia that I don't have any money.
Yeah.
It's a good system.
It is a good system. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do a band who are somewhat genre defiant. They kind of changed over the time that I've listened to them. As there seems to be a switch generally to quite poppy styles.
Yeah, a lot of bands are doing that at the moment, aren't they?
Like electronic flavors and stuff, and they're not different, but we'll get to that. So I'm doing a little band that I like to call, because it's their name, Against the Current.
I hate you so much.
Against the Current was formed in early 2011 by Dan Gow, Will Ferry, and a guy who isn't in the band anymore, and I bet he's kicking himself because
I always think that when they see the
the
people leave, and then the band gets really famous.
It's pretty funny. The third member, and to tie into our International Women's Month podcast, is Chrissy Costanza.
That's a good name.
It is a good name. She's an Italian-American.
I believe you said that to me before, because you really enjoyed the fact that she was Italian.
I just like people... I like...
You like
people
fun,
with different cultures, you know? Yeah. It's because I'm sort of Indian, but not really. I'm basically just English, and it's boring.
Yeah.
I'm so English, I don't even say British.
Yeah.
So they basically got big on YouTube. They did loads and loads of covers, and then eventually did their own EP, which is called Infinity. And then that took off, and they started touring, independently. And they did their second EP, Gravity, more touring. And then finally, they got fucking picked up. And they actually got picked up during the time that I was listening to them, which was only a few years ago. So they picked up by Fueled by Ramen, who is the same company that produces Paramore.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's why I got into my head that you were doing Paramore this week.
Well, also, initially I said I was doing Paramore, and then I changed my mind.
I support that change.
So, full disclosure here, I listened to all of Paramore's discography and was like, I only like one of the albums. That's That's not great.
With the new scheme, I like to be genuinely on the side of the band that I'm presenting now because it's a real competition now and I want to win.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is why I was like, well, you know what? Against the Current's most recent album is my least favourite, but I do like everything they've made. So, and I actually, I follow them. I've been to see them live. I love to support them when they're here. Come back to Nottingham, guys. You probably will. You're great. And it was this or Dream State, and I thought I kind of rambled enough about Dream State without them.
Yeah, you do really like them, though.
Well, they haven't released their new album yet, which is coming out in a few months. Oh, there's
time then.
Yeah, so I'll get onto them when I get onto them.
Yep.
Which band are you doing?
I am doing Love Bites. Am I giving you Are you done with your statement?
Yeah, I'm done with my little intro.
So, most recently, they've been cited to be one of the most promising rising stars in the Japanese female metal scene, which is one of the coolest titles I've seen in my life. So, I had never heard of this band before, and then I saw them at Bloodstock. And turns out they only formed in 2016, so that's a ridiculous rise to fame.
Yeah.
And considering, I appreciate they're not that famous in the UK, apparently pretty big in Japan.
Hey, my band's really big in Japan too.
Really?
Yeah. So that's pretty neat. That's a cool crossover.
That is a cool crossover. Disclaimer, there's a lot of Japanese names, and this is going to go violently wrong for me.
Well, we could do it between the two of us.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of Japanese words are pretty phonetic, but...
Why did I say it like, we can do it between the two of us? No, we can't.
We'll make more of an effort between the two of us.
Neither of us are knowledgeable enough.
So they were put together, and they are an all-female band, which is cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm on it, yeah.
Okay, well, that makes me want to give you an extra point, but I'll hold back.
I might get bonus points for that at the end, might I? So it was put together by bassist Miho and drummer Haruna, I think. And they were already pretty successful in the female metal scene out there, as it turns out. So they basically put together their own smaller version of a super group in the same way that we talked about that with Mr. Big, where they've seeked out specific levels of fame.
Seeked out, everybody.
I don't know what the correct... Suck out. What should it be?
Sort out, you...
Sort? Okay.
What was the second word you went with?
Suck.
Yeah, hold on, that's canon now on the show. They sucked out other members of the band. Bands sucking for other bands.
No, members sucking for other members. God, Matt.
Terrible.
Keep on board. Don't get too distracted by my incredibly bad English.
Difference between the Welsh and the English education system right there, mate.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good in the Welsh education system, so there we go. That's a worry, isn't it? I haven't done an English subject for a long time. So they put together, they've got, most of their members were already in fairly famous bands in Japan, but I wasn't actually familiar with any of them before. Again, I didn't stumble upon these, just on looking for music and things. They turned up somewhere and I was like, this is cool. So in 2016 was when they released their they made their live debut. They released 2 albums and 2 EPs. And then their first gig inside the UK was Bloodstock, which is a pretty incredible start.
Yeah, that's great.
They were actually supposed to play on the second stage or the Sophie Lancaster stage, but as it panned out, I think it was Suicidal Tendencies were due to play the main stage at that time slot, and they had some transport issues, and they ended up having to swap. So they got put on the main stage as a pretty incredible feat for them. So I would never have stumbled on them at all, and I was very impressed. They're very cool. They're pretty classic metal, actually.
Quite big for you, actually, because you're not huge on female vocals.
Not generally, no. And to be fair, when you saw them, I was just absolutely blown away by the musicians. I was like, I'm not really, female vocals are a little bit touch and go with me, but it definitely has grown on me. I think that's what I'm discovering, is female vocals do take a bit longer to grow, but also... I think the slow burns are the ones you enjoy the most anyway. Mm-hmm. They absolutely killed on the main stage. Really enjoyed it. And I think I'm going to convince you that they're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't usually take that much for you to convince me someone's pretty good.
No, I think you're going to like these.
Yeah.
I do think you're going to like these.
Okay. Well, right. Do you want to explain our new rubric that we've decided on? Yeah.
So we've got the same pattern that we did last time with 3 songs, but we've got a criteria for each song now. So the first song is going to be a live performance to show...
So we figured what we're going to do is we're going to listen to their live videos. But for you guys, I will put on the clean album
as you're not
version,
seeing the video. We'll tell you what live video we're watching.
Yeah.
So the first song will be a live performance to basically show that they can still play live and that they look good live. And that's cool. The second song is both ironic and unironic enjoyment, so...
Which we felt was necessary for this particular podcast, where a lot of the
Yeah.
time...
There's a lot of jokes.
Yeah, we'll be enjoying these pretty weirdly.
I feel like you should be able to not take yourself too seriously as a band. I think that's an important factor, but also still be really good, and for me to genuinely enjoy you. And then the third song is technical skill.
Yes,
So,
this one's going to
something
be
we
a
appreciate.
little... I do think we should make a note here that different genres of music demonstrate different kinds of capabilities inherently. So just because it's a pop band or something doesn't mean you aren't technically skilled.
Yeah,
You know,
it just means you're displaying things differently.
It's genuinely going to be up to us to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
If you disagree with us, please
Yeah.
email Leia. Not me.
I also would like to say that I don't claim to know technical skill outside of drums particularly.
Yeah, and I've got singing and a bit of guitar, so we're going to be working...
Like, I can appreciate a bit more generally with the bass and the guitars and things, but I will not say that I'm down with that as
Something
much.
I learned at a gig last night. No idea what guitar tones are. No idea why it makes a difference. No idea why people care. But guitarists do, and apparently it makes a difference.
You
So.
definitely care, by the way.
Do I?
Yeah, because you always...
I mean, yeah, there's like a specific difference in like metal tones.
Yeah,
to...
I think you want a region of tones rather than a specific tone, because you'll be like, I don't want this rock sound on
I
this.
can't
Give
pick
me...
out
yeah.
too specific a tone though.
No,
Broad strokes.
Yeah, much the same for me. I'm just not that familiar with guitar stuff in the same way I am with drums. I'm not going to be, you know?
So let's listen to our first two songs here, which we're going to listen to the live performances of. And the song I've picked is "Paralyzed" by Against the Current.
And I have picked Shadowmaker,
By
Love Bites.
I'm just
Also, that is...
I like it to be clear.
Fair enough. Love Bites is named after the Hailstorm song. I thought you'd be interested in.
Really, I see.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was, but it just
To be fair, I don't think I read that on their website. I think I read that on a different source, so that might be someone else speculating, but I have read that there's a connection.
Okay. Well, anyway, Paralyzed, and I immediately forgot it.
Shadowmaker.
Shadowmaker. Here we go.
It feels like I'm paralyzed and I can't escape from the prison I'm living in. I'm naming the voices in my head. Cry like shadows of the night. I carry all the pain inside just before I'm alive.
That was Paralyzed and Shadowmaker. Yes, I got
Yes,
it right.
Matt!
Jesus Christ. It's a long day, guys. I was in very late last night. So, what have you got to say? Why does your band deserve best live performance out of the two that we watched?
Because they're fucking killing it.
They are killing it.
I just think, so in terms of literally just looking at how they perform, granted, I will say that the singer of your band, she's a lot more active.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Chrissy Costanza fucking owns that stage. You
Yeah.
know what? She kind of has to. No one else moves.
Yeah, no one else is
There's
really
only
doing anything.
3 members of the main band, and then the other people who tour with them are just, like studio musicians.
Is
so,
it?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They just come round to help out. Sometimes they'll get people from, like, locals,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But at the same time, there's 3 of them. They have to do a lot of stuff on their own. The guitarist is playing his guitar,
Yeah.
And
I think that's the problem my band has a lot, to be honest, is that it's a lot of it is busy and technical, and there's not a lot of room to be doing much outside of it.
that's actually something I've come to respect in being in a more technical metal band.
Like, we forgive you for not running around while you're doing that, you know?
It's a lot of effort, actually.
Yeah.
So I've got some notes. Don't you worry. I want to bring up how small she is. She's a tiny little Chrissy Costanza sized lady. And
Wait,
yet
how tall is she?
I've stood next to her and she barely came up to my shoulder. So
Well,
if
she's like-
you want to fact check this,
I don't know how to spell her name.
Chrissy CHRISSY space COST.
Costanza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look up height if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to. I have to know.
But she is the focus of these shows. I mean, it's kind of that typical pop rock band vibe where she is definitely owning that stage. She's the writer of...
She's only 5'1". She's only 2
That's
inches shorter than
tiny.
me.
That's tiny.
Shut up.
That's
Start with me, bitch.
you're a very small person. It's basically like that singer that we.
I identify as 6'1".
That's fair enough. You've got that kind of personality.
I really do.
It's funny because when we met, you were like, "Oh, you're not that much taller than me." I am significantly taller than you, but
I
you
just
give
throw-
off give
yeah.
off a vibe of being taller.
Yeah, I have tall person vibes for a short person.
It's true, and I have, I think, maybe more wide person vibes than I actually have. I think Christy Costanza genuinely has talent. You can't make out the sound very well there, but you're gonna have to take my word that I've heard her live and she sounds like album perfect.
To be fair, you could kind of tell a little bit, but we
The-
did have to listen to an album version to check that.
The
on those.
videos we were listening to are not great audio. They're recorded on fucking phones,
But
whereas
yeah.
Bloodstock 1 was recorded professionally.
Presumably in the bloody sound booth or something. It's a good quality video.
Yeah.
But also, my band, they're all coordinated style-wise, which is cool. And this always gets me with musicians. I love the 1 foot on the amp thing in front of them. You know, when you get the facing, I love that look. It looks so cool to me.
You're giving your band an extra point for putting their foot on an
I'm
amp.
not giving them a point. I'm pitching it to you that I think that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Also, I think I mentioned to you at the time, and you had no idea what I was talking about. But the Darkade guitarist Midori, I believe.
Yeah.
She just gives me some serious Cassandra from Wayne's World vibes.
Yeah, no idea
Like,
who that is.
She just Cassandra from Wayne's World was just supposed to be like, because from what I gathered, Wayne was a bit of a fucking like loser, and she's just effortlessly cool, and she has this look and this atmosphere, and the music that she played was far different, but it's just that whole, like, while we were watching them live, I was like, Cassandra, like, this such effortless, very cool. I enjoyed it.
They're very skilled musicians, but this isn't the technically proficient part of the conversation yet.
Oh, no, we're not
You
there yet.
leave that out of here.
That wasn't a technical
I-
conversation!
We're gonna get controversial here potentially. My band does use backing tracks sometimes. There's not many of them. They use backing tracks for the more electronic songs.
I can see that.
What's your opinion on that? Do you think it takes away from the live performance? Because I kind of think it does, and I'm fighting against my own band here, so I
Yeah.
don't really want you to agree with me.
Not necessarily. I think it is situational. I think you can pull off backing tracks, but if you're dependent on a backing track, there's a problem.
Yeah.
It really does depend on the band. I think we'd have to see evidence of your band doing that in a song, notably, because I couldn't. If it was in that, I couldn't tell.
Now, we've both seen our bands live,
Yeah.
and we've both not seen the other band live.
Yeah.
So, would you see your band live again? Would you pay to see them individually?
Not loads, because I'm not a huge fan of the band, but I would pay to see them. Yeah.
Okay. I would also pay to see mine. All right. How are we going to decide who wins this?
Based on how much effort the singer of your band is putting in, I am willing to give you this one.
Okay. I'm happy with that. I
Yeah.
think because Chrissy...
She's working, man. She's busy. I bet she
She-
sweats a bucket on stage.
Yeah, she does this really cool back thing that I kind of stole and do in
Do you?
gigs. I did it in Wild Abyss a few times, actually.
I'll get a demonstration probably when we're off mic, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's really cool. She owns that stage. Also, I think she has a really tough band to work with, and you'll understand what I'm talking about here. When I saw Against the Current live, she tried to get the guitarist involved a bit, get him chatting.
And they're just not doing anything.
just
yeah.
grunts and smiles.
Yeah, because that's the problem, is she's working to make the stage work.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think, obviously my band was shown on the main stage of Bloodstock. That's a big stage. Big stages are hard to
Big
work.
stages are hard to fill.
And, I think she's the only reason that sells it to me. Because if it was just the rest of the band, I'd be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Um,
Alright, well, we'll call that 1 point against the current then.
yeah, okay, I agree.
Nice. Second round. Right. This is the unironic/ironic enjoyment. Which song have you picked for this?
I have picked Don't Bite the Dust.
Don't Bite the Dust. And I've picked the song Wasteland. So here we go with Wasteland by Against the Current and Don't Bite the Dust by Love Bites.
But I don't wanna wake up in your wasteland. I am crying all alone again. Time is passing me by.
Okay, so that was Wasteland by Against the Current and
Don't Bite the Dust.
by Love Bites. I got it, it's fine.
You got that?
I remembered it because I downloaded it whilst we were listening to it.
You enjoyed that one more than I thought you were going to,
Yeah,
actually.
I liked it a lot. It reminds me. I actually said this to you. I like anime music. I like anime theme songs. I don't love anime, which is confusing.
It is confusing.
I just don't get into it very much, especially with the boobs thing.
The boobs thing is
They
dumb.
love boobs.
I always see that photo every time someone's talking about that in anime, where there's that photo of a girl that has an arse on top of an arse, because a male artist has definitely done it. And it just frustrates me, but yeah, that's besides the point.
But yeah, I like anime music, generally speaking. Really like theme songs. Obviously, I grew up on fucking Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball. They're different. So I liked your choice. I liked my choice. It's a very emotional choice for me. So it is very unironic enjoyment for me. I went through mad depression, as everyone probably does, but I'll admit it, and therefore I'm better.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And
This is the most
Wasteland.
you thing I've ever heard in my life.
You gotta turn sad stuff around. And therefore I really like this song. What did you think?
Not so much for me.
Mm-hmm.
I preferred the first song.
This one's a bit more electronic.
Bit more electronic,
You can
a
see
little
where
bit
they're
more.
stepping.
Yeah, it's a bit more emotional, which is a bit harder for me. Just that I don't, I'm not
She's
into
not
that
got
so much.
emotions. As we've said, I think we've said in the podcast,
I'm
you're
stone
slightly
cold.
more of a robot than I am.
Yeah.
Which is why I always describe us as being the opposite gender to each other.
Yeah, people think that we should be very different than we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just the video frustrated me so much.
Yes. Well,
It's all the singer. For some reason, she's running and there's fake fog
she's
everywhere.
running a lot. There's a lot of running.
Like the video is
But
just
it's-
taking itself so seriously,
You know
and I
what?
hate it.
It's not fast running. It's like a gentle jog.
It's a
like-
jog
yeah.
that's also been slowed down, so it's actually the same pace as walking, but she looks like she's running.
Imagine if I made you do that for a video.
I would not be able to do it without absolutely creasing myself.
Like, the slow
Oh,
run.
dramatic!
And then we get about
what's the beach
like-
thing? Where they're always running down the beach in slow motion.
Oh
like the
yeah,
TV
yeah,
program?
with the sun.
Yeah.
It's Baywatch.
Baywatch, yes.
Yeah. So
It's Baywatch, but in like a shit graveyard.
in the
That's what that
video,
video is.
in the video, you get to see the drummer a few times. You get to see the guitarist.
I
Even
would say
less.
as a total, you get less than 10 seconds each
Yeah,
for the guitarist.
I think
and
you
the
get
drummer.
more drummer than you get.
You get
guitarist,
slightly
though.
more drummer, which is odd, but as you
I-
mentioned that he's the creative control behind a lot of it.
As far
so
as
there we
I'm
go.
aware, that is the case.
Oh, I hated that video so much.
So in terms of unironic enjoyment, I semi-ironically, I don't know, maybe it's nostalgically enjoy the Love Bite song because it reminds me of anime, but it's obvious, so I wonder if that's just literal enjoyment. Like,
Yeah.
the video is even very anime inspired.
That's why I would think it works as both ironic and unironic enjoyment.
I'm
Because
gonna-
it's ironic because it's dumb and it's stupid and they're not taking themselves
But
seriously.
it's a good song.
And it is actually, it is a very well written, very good song.
I am gonna give it to you on this one
Yeah.
because I downloaded the song
You
in
did
the
enjoy that,
middle
didn't
of
you?
the video, which I think is an indication of how unironically I liked it.
Yeah.
So I'm giving that to you. That's 1 point, ding ding on each side. That's 1-1. Deciding? Is this the deciding?
This is the
one?
decider.
Okay.
Well, we actually, technically, we're working on 4 now because we added
We
a
added a
sign-off
category.
point because we're
Yes.
stupid.
Well, I guess that's a chance for the other band to redeem themselves.
It
maybe,
is, yeah,
if they
because
lose.
we're probably almost always going to split
Yeah.
pretty evenly.
I
We're
think we're
so
pretty good
annoying.
about it, though.
Yeah.
We're pretty good about giving the other person the right points.
Oh yeah, I'm not here to be like, I win because I said so.
So technical skill is going to be a little difficult here because we have picked two quite different
Yeah.
genres.
Yeah, we have.
So we're going to be as good as we can about this. I think being as respectful as possible here.
You will get final say on my vocalist, and I feel that I should get final say on your drummer.
All rhythm parts, yep,
Yeah.
that's fair. So whilst I look up my choice, because I forgot to write it down,
Because Matt's stupid, and I
I-
actually did for a change,
I
even though
do
I'm the
have-
unorganised one of us both.
I have the album downloaded, I listened to it, so I actually really like the song that I'm probably going to pick as well.
Oh,
But
okay.
You say yours whilst I find it.
Mine is Rising by Love Bites, obviously. I don't think I'd heard this one before, and I was like, yes! This video is also really stupid as well. It's just they don't take the videos seriously at all. They're so dumb, and I love it.
Okay, Rising.
Rising?
I am going... Now, see, these two songs almost made it onto my end of year top 5.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh. Because you didn't end up with any against the current. In the
No,
end,
no,
did
they ended up not quite making it, but I think they got a special mention.
you? Yeah.
But I'm going to pick Strangers again,
Okay.
and we're going to see how that goes.
Here we go.
It's quite... I've said this before, I'll say it again. Each album has got more electronic and poppy, and therefore further away from my actual interest. But I
Yeah.
couldn't help myself from really connecting to this particular song.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it the perfect choice. From their most recent album, Past Lives, and Rising by Love Bites. I got it, it's
You're
fine.
doing it.
Alright, here we go.
Think it's better if we just pretend we're just strangers
Okay, that was Strangers Again by Against the Current, and Rising by Love Bites. I think that's the best pronunciation I've got of it so far.
Yeah, you're not settled on that, are you?
It's one word, it should be Love Bites. It's not the Hailstorm song, Love Bites.
God, you're putting a lot, more thought into this than I ever
I like
have.
words.
I have noticed.
They're important.
You did a degree in words.
I did not do a degree in words, I did
As
a
far as
degree
I'm
in the
concerned, you
visual
did.
language.
You
And
did a
then I
degree in-
wrote it in words.
Yeah.
And I wrote that in Word. That wasn't a
Jesus
good joke.
Christ, Matt.
That wasn't great.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone who listens. I'll leave now. All right, technical skill.
Should we do yours first?
Okay, so we've had to admit that I said this at the start. The genres are so different. There's a different kind of skill applied. So bleep bloop music is in its own way difficult. Is going to be my defense of my band there. It's a very electronic song. What did you hear about the drums?
Oh my god. So boring.
Okay.
It was the same thing all the way through, then it stopped for about 30 seconds, and then it came back in with the same thing again. And the underneath guitar pattern was basically the same all the way through. Even for bleep bloop music, it was boring. Because I think bleep bloop music can be immensely technical.
Yeah, we both actually kind of like bleep bloop music sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not generally for me, but I'm not
No.
closed off to the idea. I saw Cypress Hill, and they had their main DJ play his own set prior to the thing. And as Kyle put it at the time, he's like a classical pianist up there, like ploughing away at everything, and it was incredibly pleasing.
Hey,
to be
Kyle,
fair.
you're a fucking nerd.
He ain't gonna listen to this.
What a nerd.
He is a nerd. But we're all
Yeah,
nerds,
okay.
so there we go.
That was, and that was basically my defense. Okay, so for Melody, she's got a strong voice. It's not too difficult a pattern. I'm gonna be really generous to myself here and say that the singer in Love Bites is also not doing her full potential as a vocalist in that particular song. That's gonna be my defense there.
Yeah, I
think
can't really
vocally
comment on that.
speaking, it's both quite straightforward. So that's my defense of mine. Do you want to go for yours?
Oh god, there's so much. They're all just obviously I can't really comment on the vocalist. That was the only one that I was like,
She's
I'm
got a
not
good-
sure about where her technical
She's
level
got
is.
a very good voice. The trouble is sometimes with mixing, and it's the same with mine. Sometimes there are moments where you can tell a computer's messed with it.
Yeah,
A lot of these songs are layered.
yeah.
Really, the only way to tell is the live performance, and I heard yours live, and it was very good. So I'm willing to just believe that she can sing everything.
I mean, surely she must be at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guitarists are fucking killing it. The bassist actually is notably incredibly good, which you don't see too much in that video, but having seen more of them than that. The bassist is insane. The drummer is insane. I was just gobsmacked when I saw her the first time, because a lot of the time, even when you get female drummers, obviously I'm going to focus a bit more on her.
Because
It's
she's
just how it
sexist,
is.
it's okay.
Yeah, it's because I don't like anyone that's not a drummer, so you can go die for one.
I can definitely hit a drum. When do I become a drummer? I can do bongos.
When you can successfully play the most basic beat that I showed you, that you spent 10
nah.
minutes trying to do, then swore at me and fucked
Yeah,
off.
it's too hard. Can't do it.
That's when you're a drummer.
Can't do it.
She, a lot of the time when you get female drummers, they're often, at least less technical.
Mm-hmm.
they're on the lighter side, even if they're in metal, they'll be on the lighter side of metal. They'll be playing the less complicated stuff. There's less emphasis on her. She is insanely good. Like, I've never really seen a female drummer that double basses like that. Like, she must have legs like a fucking rugby player. It's in, like...
It's like constant blast beats,
honestly,
right?
Virtually, like, it's a lot. Like, it's not too technical outside of that.
Yeah.
It's just you don't see a
Endurance,
lot of
though,
that.
I guess.
Endurance, and you
Does
see
she
a
do
lot
it-
more of
You said
men
she
doing
did.
that.
She does it live, right? It's
Yeah,
not just.
you commented as soon as you saw her on the live video. Actually, you were like, "Look at her legs going!" Like she's so small as well. Isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, is that what it looks like when I do anything? Like just tiny little limbs.
Especially when we were at that the previous gig where the drum kit was
Oh, it's
massive.
huge.
And I was like, oh my goodness, she is a small little person.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, so I mean, this should be pretty obvious, but I'm giving that point away.
God, they're fucking
Cheers.
killing it. Yeah.
Cheers on that side.
Yeah.
Put some cheers in, Matt. That's me talking to my future self.
Yeah.
Right, so let's round this up. The final category that we have, which is a bit of a chance for bands to
kind of
you know,
pull it back. You can still. I'll accept a 2-pointer on this. We can
Exactly.
round this up to 2 points.
so Legacy, and because they're so new, mine's
Yeah.
been formed in inverted commas since 2011, but you know, you're kids at that point. This was what,
Yeah.
8 years ago now. Chrissy Costanza's younger than me, so yeah, she's like a year or two younger than me, so very young. So when do we count that as a real band?
I think, yeah, the problem... Well, I'm glad that we did coordinate that in a way, because we've tried to pick bands that don't have... Both are not super well established with a lot of legacy either. Like, there's not a lot going on in terms of band history and the like. Because mine have been around since 2016.
Yeah.
Also, would like to point out how insanely quick that is to get famous. They played Wacken Festival, they played Bloodstock, they tour Japan all the time. That's insane quick.
big. My band also toured Japan all the time.
Yeah. It's funny that, because we did not coordinate that in the slightest.
No, but they're pretty damn big. We looked on Spotify, and I think I had like
Oh, yours are much bigger than mine.
yeah, there's significantly more on both. But that's also kind of a frustrating part of the genre. You know, it's more appealing when it's pop music. It's less appealing when it's alternative. So
Yeah, I
are
mean,
we
that-
holding that against them?
I probably would say that, like, regardless of that, your band are bigger. Like,
Yeah.
they just are. And I'm more than happy to accept that, but, you know.
Yeah, they've played a lot of venues. It's I think that's what we're going to have to go off of, because there isn't enough of a legacy yet to really like nail that
What
down.
about some genuine impacts?
Genuine impact?
Both to you and to the world. What
Okay.
do you think that your band has brought?
To me personally, let's start with that. That's easier. I have found a lot of connection to Chrissy Costanza's lyrics there. They helped transition me a little bit more from pop into heavier stuff, which I know is ridiculous, but they're...
You had a long transition.
Yeah, if you think that Paralyzed is like another Paramore-esque song, right?
Yeah.
Early Paramore. And that was just
Yeah.
another step towards things. And it also helped me kind of like appreciate some pop music. And the most recent album really made me realize that I'm not into a lot of that stuff. So got some different kind of impact there. Generally, on the scene, they aren't a household name yet. They haven't really broken the UK as much as I maybe think they deserve to in terms of pop music. I actually think
Yeah.
they're better than a lot of pop artists are,
Oh,
but
yeah, I'll see that.
regardless, they haven't broken in the same way like Ed Sheeran has, where he dominates
Jesus.
the world.
Let's not go down that specific rabbit hole. Because
Yeah.
we'll be there a while.
So I'm willing to say, at the moment, small ripples, hopefully building up.
Yeah.
They play decent sized shows, nothing small. They're far from a low level band. But I don't see them. I haven't seen them invited to a festival for a little while. So I guess summer's coming up. We'll see if they're invited to anything this year.
Yeah, summer's always the big one for festivals, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
What about you?
I like this band hasn't had a massive impact on me. Surely, like their drummer, yes, granted, I was amazed. Like I was on the stage. I didn't even particularly want to see Suicidal Tendencies. They're fine. I've seen them before, you know. I was waiting for someone else and just wanted to be at the front, and it was a happy accident. But they've had like I think what they bring that's different is they're an all-female band, but they're not. They're not an all-female band because it's forced, and every time you get an all-female band, or even just female musicians, there's always this kind of bullshit atmosphere that always comes from all the metalhead dudes. They all look the same, the white dudes with the greasy ponytail. They always say, oh, it's just forced diversity, people only like them because they're all women, oh, it's political correctness and all this. No, you cannot say this about this band. They're just so good at what they are doing that I don't even think that you could argue that they are famous because they're women, which is what I think is really important.
It's not their fault they're attractive women, right?
Yeah.
Like,
they just
they're
are.
skilled
They're
and
still
they're
fucking
attractive.
killing it.
That's fine.
And, like, I like the fact that they're also not limited by genre more specifically and by content because they are women, because of a lot of female bands and particularly female fronted, if the woman is in charge of the vocals, there's this feeling of like having to do more emotional songs, but it's not like that. They are, as we've discussed, they've got quite a classic metal feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they definitely, we said Iron Maiden inspired, right?
Yeah, they've mentioned as well, particularly Iron Maiden, Anthrax, like the classic
it's
thrash
very
bands.
noticeable.
You can feel it. Yeah,
it's not like, you can't imagine it. If you swapped out the female vocalist for a male vocalist,
yeah,
it would
it'd show a
literally
lot
be there.
more. Yeah,
Like, it's just the fact that she's got a higher natural tone. 'Cause she's
yeah,
female.
obviously,
That's
yeah.
the only difference, as far as I'm concerned. Also, the language.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But also just they're just the impact I think that they'll have on the scene in that way. I think is really important that they're not a female band in the sense of like, oh, it's this novelty female band, or I don't think they will be known for being an all female band. They just happen to be, which is important.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with you.
I just, oh god, it's so good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I'm willing to go here today. I think you were generous last week. I'm gonna be similarly generous. I genuinely feel this as well. I'm not just giving it away. I think Love Bites takes the victory this week.
I genuinely think that they're not big now. I think they will be very successful.
I think that we can call you the musician and I'm the musician this week.
Yeah.
Well done.
We're one each now.
We're one
on our
each.
new series.
Yes. And next week we're coming back. What are we doing next week?
We're doing our favourite bands, so I don't think we're going to be able to vote on the next one, because we're not going to be impartial.
Yeah, man.
I think we're going to have to get some other people to vote on this.
Yeah, maybe we'll get someone to message in. Okay, well, join us next week for, oh god, our favourite band. That's going to be...
Us going to have a massive argument for 40 minutes.
This is going to be very similar to this week, except with me getting way more passionate about mine. Right.
Yeah.
So, let's
Next
call
week's
that.
going to be fun.
When this video gets released, we will have a brand new Facebook page, and the YouTube channel is already up.
Yep.
We
all
will
still tagged to
probably
musician
have a
versus
Twitter.
musician.
We won't have an Instagram. We don't know what.
We both
don't
suck
like
at
using
Instagram.
it. It's never going to happen. We'll use Twitter. It's fine.
Yeah.
And you'll see us on Facebook. Musician versus musician.
Everywhere now, nice and easy.
Yep.
Also, this is not relevant to the socials, but this is also a complete happy accident. So we're doing our favourite bands next week.
I know that.
Out of complete coincidence, I'm seeing them next week. So it's planned out quite nicely for me.
For the record, when you say next week, you mean in 2 weeks.
No, I'm seeing them a week yesterday.
Yeah, but we do
in
this
our
in 2
time.
weeks,
Yeah, but I will have already seen them by
a week
when
ago.
is this? 'Cause
This will come out when you're about to see them, or when you have
No,
seen
when
them.
I've just seen them.
Yeah, because they'll come out on Sunday.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing them next Friday.
Okay.
To us. Or the Friday behind to them.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. So there we go. I'm going to be even more passionate about it just to wind you up.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And my favourite band, actually, when we release this, will have just released their new album, which is
we're going to
terrible
get in such a
timing.
massive fight.
Well, we won't be able to because my band won't have released the album when
will
we
they not?
record it.
Oh, no, okay.
We'll be like a day off, I think.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so...
Ah.
Well, maybe I've got the timing wrong. We'll find
work it out.
We'll see you when we record this. Or when I release it is an actual statement.
Jesus.
Right. That's about it for this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We done.
Well done to Love Bites. Hey, you guys are great. And against the current... Sorry, guys. Didn't win this week. Maybe you'll win next time I bring you on.
You've got plans, have you?
Yeah, I'm just going to bring the same 3 bands on every week until they all win.
Yeah, until everyone that you feel that has to have a win
Yeah,
has had one.
exactly. So I'll just bring on Chrissy Costanza on her own. Happy International Women's Month to everyone, not just women. I don't know.
People that enjoy women.
Yeah, people who
People
don't abuse women.
people that are nice to women and support women.
Yeah.
Also, International Women's Day Month Week is not for you if you're a woman that doesn't support other women. Not for you.
Day, month, week.
Day, month, week.
Well,
I've heard
schooling
both.
everybody.
It's not in an order. I've just seen week the least.
It should be in an order.
Well, it was in an order, just not the order you wanted.
God, we spent too long arguing back and forth at the end of the
Well,
episode when I'm
stop
trying
picking
to...
on me!
We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye!